It's a beautiful day here in Tamiko Training Center. A little muddy. I got here a little bit late. Amy come home 2 days ago. For those of you, thanks for all the thousands, it seemed like, well wishes and cards and gifts, and it's really cool. Thank you. Anyway, my wife got home 2 days ago. Obviously a little stiff, a little sore. Adeline is healthy. So she was in the NICU unit, so I guess it's neonatal ICU, when she was born. Obviously, she was 7 weeks early and 2.9 pounds. So they had her in that neonatal unit, that ICU. And the doctor said, you know, she'll stay here until she's capable of leaving. Then she'll have to go to a level 2C hospital, whatever that is. Level 2C is, the closest one was Kitchener. And then she'll stay there either till she gets out or she'll go to Guelph after that, which is fine. 2 nights ago, we get a call in the middle of the night. Amy got home 3 nights ago. 2 nights ago, we get a call. Oh, we're going to transfer your daughter to Guelph. Guelph? I said, I thought she was supposed to go from... She was at McMaster University in Hamilton, sorry. So McMaster University is where all the premature babies are born in this region. It specializes in that. So we were to the understanding that she was going to Mac, then to Kitchener, and then to Guelph. The nurse said, well, just 1 second. She goes back on the phone. She goes, no, the doctor said she's okay to go to Guelph. So now Amy's starting to get, I'm happy. Amy's starting to get a little concerned and said, why Guelph? They said, well, we're full here. They're full. And she doesn't need to be here now. She can go to Guelph. She doesn't need to be intubated. She doesn't need to have the CPAP on, the thing in your nose. She's doing great. So a real happy surprise to the end of 2018 with Adeline Hope McDonald being born. And a big surprise 2019 to start off the year that she's already back home in her home city of Guelph. She's at the hospital now probably for 4 weeks, I would suspect. But doing great, and Amy's doing great too. So thanks again for all the warm notes and concerns, and as I said, gifts. It was pretty overwhelming, and you certainly didn't have to do that, but greatly appreciated. So we'll get on to the horses. What can I say? Last 2 weeks we had some terrific drone sessions. I did a Facebook Live a minute ago. I have no idea why, but I did. I had written an article. If you guys haven't got a chance to, I'll put the article on the email. The article that I wrote, and it's nothing that you guys don't know already about what we've built, but how it works and how it can help the entire industry. And I had began writing it a month ago. You know, bits and pieces, as you can imagine. I just can't sit down and write something like that. I wrote the vast majority of it after I read another article by Dean Hoffman at Harness Racing Update last week. But yeah, it took me quite a while to write this article, and it was long, but at the same time, it detailed what we've done, what we've proved with the help of you guys, what we've done, how it works, how it can help the industry, why it is so important. I keep moving my eyes around because I flipped my phone over to record this. So anyway, and the end result is what the industry can look like, hopefully, if other people were to do what we did. And you know, obviously we're not talking about the communication and the long hours we put in and what we do, but just the core of what the stable represents, what it was started to do, how it operates, how you can operate one also. Because TheStable.ca can grow to 4 times as many clients as it has right now, and it won't be able to help the industry. The industry is going to have to help itself. It's going to have other trainers that are going to have to come forward and attempt to do what we already do. And I hope they do. So that was what the article was about. As I began to say, we had a great 2 weeks of the drone. I sat down, and this is the time of year when I start putting grades beside the horses. Not telling you, because it's very raw information, but what I see in the horses. I tell you everything I see and what I like about them, even what I don't like about them. But there's usually a group of horses that I will go with. Now I can go with them for a number of reasons. Horse like Pine Creek needs a little help, but is very timid. So either Danny or I will go with her, just to help her see the light. And as I said to one of the clients, he owns a vast majority of her, and he started panicking after she ran the last 2 drones. And I said, please, we're gonna do another drone in 2.5 weeks or so. Just give me that 2.5 weeks before you start lowering the rowboat off the ship into the water. Just take your time. Take your time. She's timid, very timid filly, and I keep using her as an example because we haven't even begun to chip away at her talent yet. We were still trying to get through that very thick exterior that she has. She's timid, but she's stubborn, and she won't let you push her around or bully her. But if you show her what to do, that will melt away. And rather than be rigid with her and rough with her, I've tried to give her the time to understand and learn what we're doing visually on the track, and then also by absorbing what we're trying to teach her audibly or physically. And she's a smart filly. She's going to get it. And I think what you're going to see is a vastly improved filly the next time the drone flies here at Tamiko Training Center with Pine Creek. And obviously she made it on my list, but only 7 other horses did. Only 8. 8 horses are horses that I've deemed I need to go with full time for the next 2.5 weeks. Now, that isn't a bad thing. You may recall last year I had a gentleman say, oh, my horse already wears trot and hobbles, and this can't be a good sign. And then I sent him a video of White Tiger training with trot and hobbles on last year in February. You have to understand, just because I go with them doesn't mean they're bad. Doesn't mean they're stupid or they don't have any talent. It just means that they need a little help. They need a little polishing. Horses like Bend Over, you haven't seen any dramatic changes in him, but you have to admit he's going in the right direction. The other day when he made a break, it wasn't his fault. I ran into him. It was my fault. And I wasn't even driving him. So, but he's trotting better now. Crazy Mission, he looked fantastic the other day trotting. Again, these horses, for the most part, we've got a great group, a deep group. I don't want to demean last year's group or the year before that and say these are better. But we have a lot of really, really nice horses. A lot. And I'm very, very impressed with what I see. There's no horses. There's a couple of horses in the barn where I'd say they might not make it. They might not do what we need them to do. They got to do a lot more, but they can. And I would suggest that a horse like See You in Tuscany raised a lot of questions and a lot of red flags training down last year. 1, his health. 2, his penchant for making breaks. And then by the time he got to the races, it was game on. So I tend not to pass judgment, at least publicly, on a lot of these horses because I don't know. And I had somebody call me and say, you must know. You have to know. I have no clue. I can tell you who I believe who is talent, but what they do with that talent is completely up to them over the next 6 months. So, 8 horses are the ones that I'm going with. Now, I'm not going to tell you who those 8 are, because that wouldn't be fair to them. I'm going with them for various reasons. I can tell you one thing. I'm not going with any of them because I think they're bad. I'm going with all 8 of them because I think they need a little help. We need to, maybe I want to get a real close look at them and see if we need to change equipment or shoeing. A couple of them might need to be castrated. But these are decisions that will be made over the next week. So those are the 8 I'm going with. In regards to the other 70, wow. A bunch of really, really good-looking horses here. Some standouts the other day. Now, I don't want to... I didn't make a list of standouts. I usually do that, though, actually, that I can talk about. But I didn't make a list of standouts. But there was just so many horses that were so impressive to me. And we'll talk about them. I'm going to go through them all the babies, as in-depth as I can. And as error-free, hopefully, because I may have to upload this straight to YouTube. So, we'll see. Anyway, the horses, we had some bad luck, unfortunately. I'm sad to report that Cruising with Angus suffered an injury in his first start. Ended up with a little tear in his hind suspensory. Not an injury you want to see with trotters, but he's young, it's clean. If we treat it properly, we can minimize any scar tissue that forms in there. That's a real killer. 2 killers with suspensories. Now, hind suspensory re-injury rate is high in trotters. But the reason it's high is important to note. The reason it's high is, 1, people don't do their due diligence. If the vet says give them 3 months, they start to look sound after 2, and you start to go with them. because that's supporting cast, that's supporting structure. There's a lot of ligaments and tendons in those legs, and they can withstand a lot of work. Racing speed, they cannot. So if you don't give them the proper time to fill in and heal properly, you're almost certainly going to have a re-injury. There's that, and then the amount of scar tissue that forms. We can put PRP, which is platelets from the blood, into that area and help it heal. As scar tissue free as you can. You'd be surprised how well they can heal, especially on a young horse like him, a young healthy horse. That'll heal quickly. So 2 things: proper amount of time off, look at it closely before you start going forward again, and treating it so you minimize scar tissue. If we do those 2 things, I think you'll see Cruising with Angus make a very good recovery. And I believe his personal rate of re-injury will be low if it's done right. So for those of you out there that are horsemen that say, yeah, Heinz Suspensory's on a trotter, they always re-injure, you're right, they do. But the vast majority of the time is because they're not treated correctly. And now that we know where it is, what it is, we can treat it correctly, and I think we'll be able to do that. So Cruising with Angus, a bit of a setback, a little upset over it. But, you know, the real shitty cliche is that's horse racing, and it is. And it's upsetting and it's angering, but at the same time, it's much like bumping into something with your car. We can curse and swear all we want, or we can just get to fixing it, and that's what we're going to do. So Cruising with Angus will be on the shelf for an extended period of time, starting last week. Who else? Be My Delight is in to go again on Monday, I believe, or Tuesday, one or the other. We have Boston Glide 10-hole tonight. Jeepers. Tough bunch. Drove the far outside. May as well leave from the parking lot. It's a tough uphill climb tonight for him. But we'll get it done. We had a decent night last night. Candy Mac raced a little poor as a big heavy favorite going to the gate. Had a little issue with his palate. He was making a little noise, and the veterinarian believes he may have EPM, which is treatable. Not a big deal. The bigger problem was if it's not completely EPM, there could be an issue with his palate. We can fix that, but not something you want to be doing. But it is what it is. Majesty Boy, Robert Shepard, thought the hobbles were a little tight on him last night, I'm told. He raced so-so. Neither of those colts were spectacular, but they did their work. They stayed flat, and they got money. That's a start. Art Seeker finished 3rd. Decent mile at an added distance of 1.16 miles. He raced okay, and if you knew, Susie raced well also. We got a bunch of our horses qualified now, and a bunch more qualifying this week. A lot of horses off the shelf and moving forward. It looked we were going to have a huge start to 2019, and then we didn't enter a couple of them back into go, and then Cruising with Angus got hurt. And just regrouping now, but I think we still will have a great start to 2019. We're just going to have to wait a week to get it underway. So that's the racing. That's some good news on the baby front. I'm going to go through all the babies, all the barns with you, and try and get it done as error-free as I can in case I have to upload this straight to YouTube. I'll be back in just a minute, and we will talk about all the barns really quick, then we'll get to the babies. All right. I hope everybody had a great holiday season, and we're going to jump right into it in 2019. Talk to you in a minute.